Delegates, nearly every parent in the country knows that our schools, and particularly our primary schools, cannot properly survive without generous voluntary contributions, fundraising and indeed overdrafts. The unfortunate reality is that in terms of education spending, Ireland, despite our Celtic tiger, lags behind most other developed European countries. The effects of this are being seen in communities throughout the country. The situation has got so bad that families in our towns and cities are struggling to find school places for their children. Take Greystones in Wicklow, for example, where the threatened closure of St Bridget's National School would mean that no child living in this expanding town would have a primary school that they could walk to. Such a scenario is being repeated in many other parts of the country. One of the worst examples of which being Laytown in County Louth, where no national school has been built since 1984 and where a whole cohort of junior infants have to be taught in a secondary school gym with 2 adult toilets as facilities. Our young people should not have to endure Dickensian conditions. Arklow Community College, for example, had its PE hole and extension sanctioned 20 years ago. Yes, 20 years ago, delegates. Today, not one sod has been turned, not one block has been laid. Families could be forgiven for thinking that our taxes are bypassing our schools altogether, leaving them to fundraise and donate extra cash to keep their children in safe, clean and well-equipped classrooms. This party does not believe that our children's quality of education should be reliant on how much is raised in an annual raffle, boot sale or sponsored walk. We believe that free education should mean just that, free education. But free education should not mean cheap education. It does not mean skimping on school buildings so that prefabs are an inevitable addition after a few years. It does not mean principals assuming the role of secretaries because of lack of staff. It does not mean children being taught in toilets. What it does mean is an increase in capitation grant that covers insurance costs, heating, lighting, electricity and general upkeep of schools and some teachers' resources and materials. Labour believes that the capitation grant should be doubled, and if in government will double the capitation grant to bring the schools and the funding of our schools into the 21st century. We want all schools to have appropriate support staff because we want clean and safe schools for our children. We want the state to face up to its responsibility to explore both new ways of ensuring schools. We want a block grant to cover utilities and repairs big enough to have a margin of trust so that if a school faces a sudden structural or physical crisis, it does not have to go begging to parents or indeed hold another annual draw. This is not a radical step by any means. It is a step for any modern society to take. It is not rocket science. Providing the best environment possible for our children will assist their learning immensely and allow them the greatest opportunity possible to achieve their potential. Additional fundraising by parents and the community for the schools should be complementary to, and not instead of, government money. Schools should not have to rely on public generosity to survive day by day. This is true of our less prosperous past as it is of our modern Ireland. Accordia, finally, society should be judged on how it provides for its young. The bureaucratic, uncaring attitude of this government to education leaves them, in my opinion, indicted of not cherishing the children of our nation equally.
Wicklow Councillor Nicky Kelly there on the Dickensian conditions in so many schools.